Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and Outemu, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at a keyboard from AOC. Yes, a keyboard from AOC, not what you'd expect, but here it is anyway. This is the GM500 with red Outemu switches. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at AOC's gaming keyboard range. Now this is one of their mid-range keyboards. This is the GM500. It is a fully mechanical keyboard with Outemu red switches, also available with Outemu blue should you wish to. The choice, I guess, is going to be down to the individual. Me personally, I do like Outemu red switches. I love the feeling of them. I find them great for gaming, etc. Obviously down to the individual, but I really like them, so I should enjoy this keyboard. Although this keyboard is in the US layout, the ISO layout, rather than being the UK layout. So for those of you in the UK, you may have to wait a little while to see if there's a UK version available. But at the moment, it seems this is the only one on the market. So let's take a look at it, go through the unboxing, see what we get, give it a test run, see what it's like, and look at the software. And then I'll come back at the end with my final thoughts. So let's start off with the packaging, as we generally tend to on an unboxing channel. So this is in the normal kind of colours that you get from AOC. They're black and red, which fortunately actually on this particular keyboard there aren't a great deal of accent colours. All the colours are essentially from the RGB, the cabling, etc. is all nice and black, so definitely a win so far. Goes through the specs on the front, so it also supports the FX Sync, so that is AOC's own software, which is combined with their Gtools software, so you can take full control through macros, RGB control, all that sort of stuff. But if you are lucky enough to have a AOC keyboard, mouse, possibly a headset and all those kinds of good things, then you can actually synchronize them all in the FX software. So that's definitely a good thing. You do get a 2-year warranty with this one as well, which is quite often the case with AOC products. And if I flip the box around now, we can see some of the specifications. I'll put those on the screen so you can see those. But essentially this is a full-size keyboard, so no real surprises there. Weighty, it is actually quite a weighty unit. There is a metal top plate to this, so it does add a little bit of heft to it, which makes it feel really nice. On the back it goes into some more details about some of the features, such as, again, that metal deck, the quick response key switches. Also, like we said, we've got the fully programmable keys, and also there is a magnetic wrist rest as well, so typing can be a little bit more comfortable. So I think that's it for what's on the box. Let's take a look and see what we actually get inside. So when we open the box, we are greeted first of all with our quick setup guide, and this is exceptionally basic. Literally tells you to kind of just plug it in and install the software. Also, there is a warranty manual. Accessories wise, we have got a keycap puller and also a set of WASD keys in a really nice chrome finish. We obviously get the keyboard itself, and there is a nice magnetic wrist rest. So let's start off with the keyboard itself. So first of all, we've got a USB cable for connectivity purposes, which is gold plated, and also it's finished in a really nice black braiding, really nice to see. Cable length 1.8 meters, and there is a Velcro tie there to tidy up your cable management. The cable itself is captive and doesn't have any means of actually kind of tucking it in underneath, which for cable management purposes potentially could be an issue for some people. So yeah, the cable literally comes out one fixed place and that is it. Keyboard layout itself, very nice, and nice feel to the keys. They've got a nice textured top to them. There's a little bit of spring to the actual deck itself, and the deck itself is actually metal as well, so you've got a nice bit of weight to it as well. It does feel pretty sturdy. You do have as well the wrist rest, as we said, so that is magnetic, so yeah, that locks into place. Actually, that's quite, yeah, that is actually really good. The magnets in there are pretty strong, so yeah, that does feel much, much nicer. The keys themselves, really nice double shot keycaps, which are removable. You can take them off and have a look inside, give them a clean up. The actual legend on the keyboard, I think, is fine. I won't say it's brilliant, I won't say it's bad, it's fine. The legend itself, to me, the letters seem a little bit on the small side. We'll find out later when we plug it in, see what the RGB comes through like, see if it kind of makes it pop a little bit more. Hopefully it will do. I think for people, especially with a black keyboard, you do really need, if your lights are off, you do need the legend to be a little bit more, well, in your face, I guess, a little bit more bold. But certainly, it appears to be okay. I would like it to be a little bit bigger, but functionally it's absolutely fine. We do have a selection of programmable function keys. So we've got the G1 to 5, so that's your programmable macro keys along the top there. Next to that, you've got 3 audio keys, so you've got mute, volume up, volume down, and then you've got some media specific keys, so you've got rewind, fast forward, play, pause, and stop. Moving down towards the bottom set, so we've got our Alt key. There's also a RGB key, so you can use that to adjust the RGB settings. A little bit confusing actually at first. When I first looked at this, I looked at it and I thought, well, where is the function button as such to kind of make the controls? So the function button just says FN on it, whereas the ones adjacent to it have both got additional kind of imprints on them. So you get the idea that maybe you press that one and that could change the lighting. So no, that isn't the case. You press and hold the function key, and then you can use the light button here to actually turn the lights on or off. And the ones on the arrow keys are for changing the actual lighting style and also the brightness levels. Again, using the function keys along the top, which double up as these media keys, press and hold function, press G1, takes you into G1 mode, press it, and the volume mute button, it mutes the sound. Pretty straightforward, simple stuff. But there wasn't any actual guide in the keyboard box itself. I had to kind of work that out for myself. Going back to the keyboard itself, you do have the ability to actually raise the deck up, as you do on most keyboards, and actually on the bottom there, got some really nice rubberized feet, so it doesn't want to move around, although it will move very slightly, but it's pretty well planted. You do have rubber feet on the actual legs themselves, and there's 3 rubber feet at the front there to keep things nice and stable. Again, looking at this section, you can see there are no cable management points whatsoever. You do quite handily have some ventilation or drip holes at the bottom, so if you accidentally spill your favorite drink on there, it will run out, but it's not waterproof and there is no IP rating whatsoever. So going back to the actual keys themselves, so these are Outemu reds, as some of you may have already seen from some of the B-roll. So you take the cap off and you've got the red switches there. Again, I really like these red switches. There's no bumps on them at all, they're just linear. Yeah, these are my favorite type of switches. I really do appreciate them. Looking at some of the noise from the keyboard, so see if there's any rebound. Pretty decent, and there's a little bit of key wobble towards the top there. Not a great deal. Actually feels quite nice. Very responsive. Again, I do like Outemu reds anyway, so yeah, it is going to suit me perfectly. The wrist rest itself, going back down into that, you do actually have 6 rubber feet on there, so actually 1 more foot than is actually on the keyboard itself. So that again is going to keep itself planted pretty nicely. And again, the magnet is super strong. Overall, I'm very happy with this so far. Now, I suppose before we plug it in and go through the RGB settings and the software itself, we should discuss price. Now, at the moment in the UK, this retails somewhere in the region of between £40 and £50, depending where you're shopping. So price-wise, I would say it isn't cheap, but it isn't expensive either. I have seen Outemu red keyboards, which have been far more expensive, up into the hundreds, in fact. But I have also seen them as low as the 30s. So yeah, it's kind of in the mid-range. I think the main thing with this is the fact that you do have the software control as well. Also, you do have that nice metal deck, which gives it a little bit more rigidity. And actually, saying that, there is very minimal flex in the deck itself. So quality-wise, you can't go too far wrong. The best thing, again, about this is the fact that you can control it all really handily in that software and make one cohesive system, which generally in the marketplace today, we do end up paying a little bit extra for. So let's go ahead and look at that now. Okay, so on our Windows desktop, I'll try and get it so there's a cutaway of the keyboard so you can see the changes in real time. All we do is head into AOC's Gtools app, and in here you can see immediately it's gone straight into our GK500. If you've got other AOC peripherals, they will also be in this section here, so if you want to combine all of them together in one cohesive RGB unicorn puke mess, you can click on Light FX Sync, and then that will synchronize your keyboard, your mouse pad, your headset, and also AGON compatible AOC monitors, or basically any monitor from AOC that supports Light FX. So that is that section. Let's go back into Light FX and take a look at some of our settings. So currently we've got it set to flashing. We do have options in here. So we've got static, breathing, react, flashing, ripple, radar, fireworks, blink, wave, custom setup, concentric circles, and we've got wave. So wave is your kind of like oscillation. One thing I've noticed from the software already is the fact that when you're actually in the software, it defaults to red, which is obviously AOC's kind of accent color. So regardless of which setting you have, so if we put this to the unicorn puke setting, and then we change from wave to concentric circles, it always wants to go back to red. Hopefully they fix that in later updates of the software, think most people would like to probably keep the color which they're used to, especially if you've spent time getting a custom color, etc. But anyway, let's take a look through the version. So we've got the static color. So that is just basically going through and not fading in or out. Static is a little bit misleading. Obviously, if you want just a single color, such as the blue, then it can be static. But if you set it to Unicorn Puke, it will do the color cycle. You can also change the brightness. You can also change the pulsation, or the kind of how quickly it goes from one color into the next. So the next one was going to be breathe in, which is again similar sort of deal. Again, you have to change it back to color if you wish to. So that's breathing on and off. You've got react. So with react, you have to press a key and then it will kind of activate and the colors will stay on there. You have options for different colors obviously as well in that. Next one is going to be flashing. Again, that is defaulting, actually one of the few ones to actually default to the Unicorn Puke straight away. You can change the direction as well, so up or down. So a few settings there. Next one is going to be ripple. So this is basically like the reaction one. So when you press a button, it goes outward from the button pressed. It all makes sense. And again, you can change the colors. Radar is like the rotational pattern. So that's all good. And you can change the direction as well. So yeah, pretty good. I like this software so far. Not bad at all. Next one is fireworks. So this again is going to be a reactive. So when you press a keyboard, so when you press a key, it's going to do the kind of spill out in the shape of a kind of firework, I would guess. Then you've got blink. So that is basically just, well, as it says, blinking marvelous. Then we've got wave, which is our traditional kind of Unicorn Puke, which most people will have seen. Again, you can speed up or slow down the colors should you wish to. Then we've also got custom setup, so you can do per key lighting. Concentric circles we've already seen. There we go, we'll have that in the red. Let's just have a look in the white, see what the white's like. Yep, it's a pretty nice white, nice and clear. And then we're back down to the last one again. So yep, looks pretty good. The color fades are actually quite nice. Quite smooth as well. Actually smoother on the keyboard than they are on the screen itself. Let's slow that right down. Yeah, that's pretty smooth. I quite like that. In fact, that might be one I set it to. Then you go back to fast and induce some kind of seizure. So that is the lighting. So buttons wise, you've got options for the macro manager. So you can add your macros, etc., record your macros. Also, you've got game mode as well, so you can disable keys, choose which ones are disabled, etc. And you can switch your arrow keys and WASD should you wish to. Yep, there's that. Sensitivity. So you've got some polling rate options there, up to 1000 Hertz. You've got your repeat delay as well, which is actually quite useful, and your repeat rate. And then you've got your repeat rate test, so you can hold down a key and test the repeat rate. So let's go ahead and try that now. So yeah, you can see what your repeat rate is like. You can configure that as you see fit. And I guess that is pretty much it. It does say on there, English UK. I think that's the language for the actual software itself rather than the keyboard. So if you change this to French, for example, it doesn't automatically change the keyboard to French. It just changes the language of the actual application. Okay, so there you go. You've had a look at the software. You've taken a look at the keyboard. What do you guys think of it? I'm actually really impressed. AOC are not the natural choice that you think of when it comes to gaming peripherals, or just peripherals in general, really. Obviously, their key thing is monitors, and they do a fantastic job of that, as we've seen previously. And I think actually they're starting to really do a good job in the peripheral marketplace. This, as a keyboard, as it stands, for somewhere between £40 and £50, or if you can get on offer, even better. I think it's a solid keyboard, it really is. It's solid in many ways. Solid as in it covers a lot of bases, all the features are there. The wrist rest is actually extremely magnetic and really handy. That's a really nice wrist rest. The keys, the key switches, the pressing, it just feels really good. There's not a ton of kind of reverb or echo from the actual deck itself. The feet are very good, rubber coated, etc. The cabling hasn't got any accents to it, so it's going to tie in with pretty much any build you want to do. So if you maybe don't want to have other AOC peripherals and you just want to have this and you want to control the actual RGB from the buttons rather than the software, and you want to keep your own RGB software on your machine, then it's absolutely fine. It doesn't give away the branding a great deal. Obviously there is an AOC logo on there, which kind of gives away where it's come from, but essentially it's not overly branded. It just does a really good job, and I actually really like the lighting. The actual keys themselves, now that the RGB is on, they do appear to be a lot clearer than I thought they were at first. So my initial reservations about the actual legends on the keys I think was unfounded. I think it does look really good, and actually it does remind me a great deal of the Strike from GameMax. Same key setup, very similar design, although the Strike is a little bit more plasticky, and the biggest point of all for me is you cannot control it within software, which these days for a peripheral, especially one in that price point, is pretty unforgivable. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'd love to hear what yours is. Let us know in the comments section below. Is this something that you'd go out and buy for yourself? Have you already got one of these, and what are your thoughts on it? Do let us know, be interested to hear from you. I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. This has been the AOC GK500. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you guys in the very next video. Thanks for watching.